If you're a woman over 40 and you feel like your body is fighting you every January 1st, you are not imagining it. You set the same resolutions. You want to lose 20 pounds in this year. You want to cut out carbs. You want to exercise more. But by February, you've usually quit. Why? Well, because what you're trying to do is actually damaging your metabolism, and you are actually applying the wrong strategies to set your New Year's resolutions. That's why in this video, I'm going to break down why traditional resolutions fail us, especially in this stage in our life, the science behind it. I'm going to give you my 5-step framework to set resolutions that actually help you achieve your goals. So 2026 could be the year that you stop starting over. This isn't about trying harder. This isn't about restriction, but doing it smarter. Before we get into the 5-step framework, I'm going to talk about why resolutions generally fail. And there are 3 reasons. Most resolutions are based on motivation, restriction, and they are far too vague. So motivation, you start January 1st and you've got all these grandiose goals, right? You're going to cut carbs, you're going to lose that 30 pounds, you're going to start working out every day, you're going to stop drinking alcohol, and you have all these goals and all these visions for 2026. And then come February, they've gone out the window. Why? One, it's based on motivation, and motivation we know is a muscle that has a finite life, because when real life hits you, motivation goes out the window because now you have other things that are pulling you in different directions. And when motivation is not based on strategy and is not concrete, it goes out the window. Come February, the gym is empty. Everyone is joined in January, and by February, no one's going anymore because they're no longer motivated, or that pain isn't as strong in February as it was in January. So that's one. It's based on motivation. It's based on restriction. So I'm going to cut out carbs. I'm going to go at it really hard. I'm going to remove all this stuff. And it's very restrictive. And we know that restriction doesn't work long term because it requires a lot of willpower. And we also know that willpower is short lived. And finally, you have this grandiose goal or vision, right? I'm going to lose 30 pounds, but it's not very concrete. It doesn't give us any strategies on how we're going to achieve that 30-pound weight loss. So it's very wishy-washy, and it's kind of like a wish you're putting out there. I want to lose 50 pounds. I want to lose 30 pounds. But how are we going to do it? It doesn't tell us the how. So your brain really doesn't know what to do in order to lose the 30 pounds. Okay, so now that we've covered why the resolutions generally fail, let's talk about how to actually set resolutions that will work for you, especially this coming year. So you can end up in a completely different place next year than where you are this year. So number 1, stop setting weight-based goals and start setting process goals. So you remember when I said, losing 30 pounds is kind of like a wishy-washy goal because you don't know how it is that you're going to get there. So the scale, setting a 20-pound goal, doesn't tell you what you're going to be doing. But setting a process-based goal will make it very clear to you what it is that you need to do in order to lose the 20, 30, 40, 50, 10 pounds. I don't care what it is. It's going to tell your body, tell your brain what it is that you need to be doing. So a process-based goal would sound like this. I'm going to eat breakfast that has protein, that has at least 20 grams of protein. And I'm going to do it 5 times a week, 7 times a week, every single day. It doesn't matter, but you are saying very specific things that you are going to be doing. I'm going to eat breakfast. We know when breakfast is going to happen. You can even say very specifically, I'm going to eat breakfast every day at 9 a.m. or an hour and a half after I wake up. I'm going to make sure it has 30 grams of protein, and I am going to do it every day or 5 days a week. Whatever that goal is, you're making it very specific. It's a plan, and you can actually follow through and track this plan. You see how it's very different than I'm going to lose 30 pounds. Well, how are you going to lose the 30 pounds? Well, you've made it very clear and very specific so you can actually follow through on it. The second tip is start small so you can't fail. So, this is where we often overdo it. A lot of us will make these grand gestures, right? I'm going to do a cleanse. I'm going to hop on this diet. Gosh, you guys, how many people do we know? How often have we done this ourselves that we're in it or we're not in it? Perfect, this really strict diet that we follow, we lose the weight, and then we throw it all in because it's just too big. It's too grand. And you can only do something so restrictive for so long because nobody likes restriction. We all like to live from a place of freedom. So make it really realistic, especially if it's something that you don't naturally do. Like I wasn't a natural exerciser. So when I did it, I implemented a lot of strategies to actually start exercising. Nutrition generally came naturally to me, but exercise was a whole different matter. So what I did was I set small goals. If I didn't move at all, and this is what I tell my clients, start with a small goal. If you don't exercise at all, start with 10 minutes of walking after dinner or something really tangible, small, doable. I could walk for 10 minutes after dinner or 10 minutes anytime in my day. The more specific you make it, the more likely you will follow through on it. But you can start with, I'm going to do 5 lunges 3 times a day, and you could set your phone alarm and you can do 5 lunges around the house or in your office or wherever it is. But start small and don't make it this grand thing. When it comes to diet, I'll tell my ladies to always start with breakfast. Why? Well, it sets the tone for the entire day and it's generally doable. It's the one meal that we're not relying on other people with, right? And we're not eating with our family. Generally, breakfast is just for me and I'm not cooking for everybody. I'm just making my own breakfast and I can fully control it. So it's very small, it's doable, it's not overwhelming, and it's not this overhauling of everything that I'm going to throw away in a week because it's just too restrictive. It's very doable and I could track it. So make it small and make it very specific something that you can actually do and follow through on. 3, change your environment and don't rely on willpower alone. So willpower is, if let's say Christmas time, this holiday time was really hard on most of us because our environment was different than what we're used to. We're not generally used to having cookies and chocolate and all of these functions so close together. So our environment changes. That's why it's so much harder to eat healthy during the holidays because our environment is very different. So if you want to make things achievable for you, if you want to set goals and follow through on them, you gotta change your environment. So it starts with making sure that you have food around the house to help you achieve your goals. So if you want to eat more protein, let's say, the first example that I gave is, I want to eat 30 grams of protein at breakfast. Well, if you go into your fridge and pantry and you don't have any protein options to choose from, it's going to be very hard for you to make healthy choices for breakfast. If you have a house full of junk food and no healthy food, it's going to be really hard for you to achieve the goals that you set for yourself. So create an environment that actually cultivates health and helps you achieve the goals that you've set for yourself. 4th, this is my absolute favorite. Function from a place of choice, not restriction. Okay, so I don't like to set negative goals. So when people come into my program, they're often thinking, I have to cut this out and I have to cut that out. It's actually never, ever the place that I start. Most of the questions that I get before people join is, do I have to give up dairy? Do I have to give up sugar? Do I have to give this and that up? And I don't function like that because, obviously I'll teach you what's healthy. We're not going to live on of sugar, of course. And the only thing I cut out is for sure seed oils. That's my only non-negotiable. Everything else could fit into a healthy diet, but function from a place of freedom. place of choice versus restriction. Instead of thinking, I can't eat that, and that's all you think about. So if someone tells me you cannot eat sugar or you cannot eat that, what am I thinking about? That sugar, even though I don't naturally crave it, is probably the only thing that I will ever think about. And the reason I set my program the way that I did is because whenever I would do a plan, be given a cleanse, or do something, all I could think about were the things that I couldn't have. I don't function really well with restriction. And so I created my program with a lot of freedom. But what you do is you focus on the things that you want to eat, and then you start to tune into your body and you start to listen to the feedback that it gives you. So if I eat something and it makes me feel uncomfortable, it makes me feel bloated, I'm craving an hour and a half later, and my blood sugar isn't stable, well, I'm going to tune into that and I'm going to make choices from that place. Like, let's say the holidays, if I drank alcohol or ate dinner late or had dessert in the evening, these are all things that I don't normally do. I was just tuning in, and I get my clients to just tune in to see how those things impacted them. And then the next time they will start to tune in better and they'll make their decision from a place of freedom instead of the I can't have that. It's, you know what? I'm actually going to choose not to have that because last time that made me feel really uncomfortable. So it's a completely different feeling. So I've said enough about that. So basically, choice versus restriction. And then finally, do it with others. Research is very clear. When you surround yourself with like-minded people, you become like them. My mom used to tell me, be careful who your friends are because, you will follow their path. You will become like them. So if you are around people who are not focused on their health, who are not interested in what you're interested in, if you're into health and you want to lose weight, surround yourself with like-minded people because it is easier to follow through and to become the person that you want to be depending on who you surround yourself with. That's why actually I changed. I used to do only one-on-one and I changed into a group format. So my programs are all focused on individual results done in a group format. So we have weekly group coaching calls. And time again, when I do my calls with the ladies, when I'm exiting people out and I'm giving them their strategies to continue and, with momentum on their weight loss and health journey, the number one feedback I get is my favorite part was the community. It's the ladies. It's hearing that what they're struggling with. It's the questions that they asked. It's a safe place that I have to know that other people are on the same journey as me. When I got cheered on, when I got coached, when I was encouraged by another lady on the call, that was my favorite part. Because we are created for relationship, we're created for community. So surround yourself with people that are on the same journey as you. So if you are heading into this year and you are tired of starting over, you are discouraged by past failures and you don't want to repeat them anymore, and you're not sure what works anymore, you're in the right place. I'm going to have a lot of strategies for you in the upcoming weeks. Next week is a great episode. I hope you'll tune into that. It's what the step-by-step framework, it's exactly what you need in order to find health, to find weight loss for your over 40 body. So make sure you tune into that. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe because let me remind you, your body is not broken. Your metabolism is not doomed. And hitting your weight loss and health goals is absolutely possible. I've seen it time and time again with the ladies that I work with. I've seen it personally in my own body. I get leaner and healthier, and I can't imagine where I would be if I hadn't implemented the strategies that I'm going to be sharing with you. So make sure you tune into next week's episode, and I'm going to have some great episodes coming up for you. And also, I'm having a 2-day live workshop coming up. I would love to see you there. You can register at nutritionherway.com/workshop. The link is actually in the show notes. I'll see you on the next episode.